Hey guys, Joshy here, BJ on GameDay, back for another episode of the team previews. Guys, this week we're going to be covering the Parramatta Eels. So a lot of talk about the Eels this early in the season. Obviously, a lot of expectations with how they performed last year, and hopefully they get bigger and better this year for a lot of their fans. Guys, just before we do jump into that, the BJ on GameDay group code, you'll see that in the top corner there, 218667. As I say, a lot of talk around on social media pages this early in the season or before the season starts with Parramatta and how easy their draw is. Now, I guess that really revolves around the first 8 rounds where they only play one team out of the top 8 from last season. So they've got, I think, the Warriors a couple of times. They've got the Titans a couple of times. Really, really easy draw to start the season. But at the same stage, obviously, they've got to be really professional about it. They can't be complacent, and hopefully, for a lot of super coaches, this means some points because they got plenty of players across the park that will find their way into super coach teams. Specifically, probably Mitch Moses, their halfback. He had a fantastic season last year, took over the kicking goal duties, and was absolutely brilliant with the boot. Brilliant in setting up plays and plenty of attacking himself. So he's my starting halfback this year. I'm going to start with him based on that draw and based on what we saw last season. I'm hoping he can back it up again. Guy in his halves pairing is Dylan Brown. Now, Dylan Brown showed plenty last year as a rookie. Look, with Dylan Brown, probably, pricing-wise, he's out of the picture, but plenty of ability and, that extra development, I guess that extra pairing with Mitch Moses, that extra time, is going to hold them in good stead. Hopefully they can see them perform as a team. But star-studded backline, plenty of strike power across that whole backline. Maka Sivo was absolutely amazing last season. Again, his rookie season or his debut season. And Blake Ferguson, plenty of experience there on the other wing. Won a premiership with the Roosters. Has played plenty of games for New South Wales Blues. And provided the off-field dramas stay away, we know how good he can be in Supercoach. His kick returns are absolutely phenomenal. Scores plenty of tries in the corner and, plenty of tackle busts as well. So some good numbers there for both the wingers for Parramatta. And in the centres, look, Wanga Blake is, I guess, his name again has been thrown around a little bit as a potential pod. A couple of injuries in the last few seasons have sort of stalled that, but he's shown plenty of ability. It's just about getting that consistency and trying keeping him healthy on the park. King Gutho at the fullback position. Look, fantastic player. Definitely is the heart and soul of this team. Wears his heart in his sleeve every week. Really tries to perform week in, week out. So no doubt he'll continue to do that this season. Probably one of the most successful people that's come back from ACL surgery. He really came back and just shone through. So hopefully those knees can really hold up again. During the off-season, they signed a couple of huge signings in their pack. Number one in Regan Campbell-Gillard, probably from a Supercoach point of view, has never really found himself in that top echelon of props, but has performed well enough that a lot of people sort of have him in draft level and things like that. But Ryan Madison is the one. He's the big key signing. Came from the West Tigers, where reportedly he wasn't happy under Michael Maguire in the West Tigers outfit. Has come over to the Eels. And look, what we've seen from him right back to the Roosters days through to the Tigers and now the Eels, performs at 80-minute, for the whole 80 minutes at an elite level. So makes tackles all game. Some brilliant decisions in attack as well. And a really, really good base player, I guess. His base points are fantastic. So a little bit expensive at $626,000. I was hoping he'd be a little bit cheaper. But, obviously that reflects his good average from last year. And hopefully he can match that again this year in this Eels outfit. Now, probably my main concern there is obviously you look at the NRL.com team prediction, and the interchange has 4 near enough to forwards. Obviously, Brad Takarangi can play in the centres and on the wing, but you've got 4 really big bodies there, meaning that obviously Reid Marnie will probably play big minutes if this is a true prediction. But Madison may find himself, I guess, out of the rotation, not playing the full 80 and maybe only playing 55 to 60 minutes. But I think it'll be at the benefit of the Eels if they do claim the full 80. Nathan Brown's another one in their 13 jumper. Look, fantastic Supercoach player. Unfortunately, injuries again have sort of soured his last couple of seasons. Every time he seemed to get back on the park, another injury popped up. But we announced earlier in the week on our pod video, early last week on our pod video, that he was one of our pods alongside Junior Paulo. We actually picked two out of the Eels because they're just stacked with Supercoach players. Really, you could probably use the Eels team as your whole team and score quite well. So, some good opportunities there for the Eels. I mentioned Junior Paulo, another one who's showed in Supercoach last season that he had plenty of potential. Sean Lane's another one. Now, Sean Lane probably didn't excel like a lot of people thought he would last season. He showed glimpses the season before of what he could produce at Manly. And when he came over to the Eels, played well, but unfortunately with the disruption and the injury to Dylan Brown throughout the season, that left side of the Eels really just didn't have that consistency. But when he did play outside Dylan Brown, he scored quite well. So maybe one to watch out and a sneaky pod as well. Now, look, there's a couple of players in the others that a lot of people are looking at with Stefano Utoikamana. I can't say his name. Obviously, Parramatta have got him at the moment. He has signed with the West Tigers for season 2021, so he will be there for now. But a lot of people talking about him and his involvement out of the Nines. Look, not really too much in there others that I'd worry about otherwise with regards to Supercoach. Ray Stone's a solid player. Will Smith's had plenty of time in first grade, as has Jamin Salmon. Ethan Parry got a few games last year during origin period or injury time on the wing. Showed enough to think one day he might be an NRL player, but probably not for the next couple of seasons. So good backup there off the bench. Probably the one I'd look at is David Gower. He's shown that he belongs in that pack, and I could probably see him coming onto the bench, maybe at the expense of sort of Daniel Alvaro or Kane Evans. Look, a sneaky pod for him. I know, obviously, I mentioned Nathan Brown and Junior Paulo. Reid Marnie. Now, if this kid turns into an 80-minute hooker, he does have the engine where he could perform quite well. I think attacking-wise, he's got plenty of upside. Defensive-wise, look, he's a really, really solid defender. It doesn't miss too many tackles, and you can probably see him averaging that sort of 55 to 60. The only problem with him, I really can't see any ton-up scores like you'd see from a Cameron Smith or a Damien Cook. He doesn't look to have that potential where he can run a team around the park, which is what those guys do and create those tries. So I'll watch this space, I guess, on Reid Marnie, see how the form goes, see how Parramatta play up the middle and whether he can have that kind of effect on Supercoach. Look, their draw for 2020 with the Eels. Bogan, we just want to flip that, mate, if you got it there. Perfect. There we go. Oh, Hampton. Making a surprise entrance here, Brent Hampton. No, look, guys, Bogan and Brent were just recording another video before, so that was a little screenshot there, but no doubt great to see the Hampton. Buy in round 16, so one of those top 8 teams that does actually play in round 12, which will be good. So again, it probably holds us in good stead. If we look at their draw on the first 8 rounds, if we lead that into round 12 as well and that they play there, it's probably a big advantage to have a few Parramatta players to start the season with. Your Mitch Moseses. If you want to take the punt in the centre wings on Blake Ferguson, obviously it's a little bit expensive this time of the year, and a lot of people are spending money elsewhere. But guys like Junior Paulo, Nathan Brown, Ryan Madison. Obviously, Ryan Madison will probably 95% play for the Blues, so he might be one to offload at some stage or see how you go with obviously keeping him as a gun through the origin rounds. But that's it, guys. Nice and a quick one there for the Eels. Plenty of talent across the park. Supercoach guns across their team. So any advice from me, I'd definitely say you've got to have a couple of them in your team if you want to be in the top 1,000, top 2,000 come the season's end. Cheers, guys. Next up, we've got the top 4. So we've got the Bunnies, we've got the Raiders, we've got the Roosters, and we've got the Storm. So next up will be the Bunnies. and Bogan will have his input then. Raiders are next, excuse me. Raiders are next. I thought the Bunnies finished fourth. Raiders are next. And we'll go through, obviously, the hometown team for me and Brent in Canberra. Cheers, guys. Hey, guys. Joshy here. Thanks very much for joining us for another episode of BJ on Game Day. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube for all your notifications. If you do want to follow us on Facebook, you can find us there at BJ on Game Day. And on Twitter, we're at BJ on Game Day as well. So, guys, we'd really like your support with that. Follow us so we can know you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks very much.